feel like you are not respected enough in your community? Do people just brush you over, both men and women? Because if you do, you are not alone. Many guys raise this question to me regularly. Why am I always getting disrespected? I try to do everything right, but it's never effective. Brothers, I'm going to tell you the real reason why you're not getting the respect you desire so keenly. There's nothing inherently wrong with you, but you have to get one important concept through your mind. To best put it forward for you to understand, allow me to tell you a quick folklore. It originates from ancient Hindu tradition. Long ago, there was a mighty snake that roamed the lands. He was fierce, and so he used to attack people and cause mayhem on their stock. He built himself a reputation that echoed long distances, instilling fear in the hearts of every common folk around. In what one would consider absolute power and dominance, the snake began to feel isolated and alone. Everyone was scared and no one would dare try their luck around him. He found himself longing for any company, but no human nor animal was willing to provide any. Feeling melancholic, he made his way to a great monk of the time. He said, "I enjoy my power and the security it brings me, but I have to say I find myself incredibly lonely. How can I get others to change their perception of me so that I'm not so alone anymore?" The monk gave a simple answer: stop biting. It was as straightforward as the snake could have wanted it to be. And best believe, he took a pledge to stop biting. Many days later, the snake made his way back to the monk. He was on the verge of death, bruises on every side of his body. He said to the monk, "I stopped biting like you said, but they pounced on me with all they had. I barely got myself out." Upon hearing this, the monk replied, "I told you to stop biting, not hissing. When you stopped hissing, the people figured out they had power over you now. All the pent-up anger and frustration then had to come out, which resulted in what you went through." Brothers, there is a crucial lesson to take from here. It doesn't matter if you're trying to scare or befriend someone. One thing has to remain constant, and that's making it absolutely clear you're not to be played with. Like how a snake hisses when you overstep into its territory, like a warning sign. I want you to understand the importance of expressing yourself assertively. When the snake was trying to be kind to others, he shouldn't have given up his hissing as a defense mechanism. Not biting would have gotten the message across that there are no ill intentions from his side onwards, that he's not aggressive and means peace. But the hissing would ensure that nobody oversteps his own boundaries. To quickly remind he still possesses power he's not utilizing voluntarily, and if the need be, he can definitely tap into it. The fact is, when you're always nodding along and being super agreeable, you will unknowingly paint a massive target on your back. Why? Because people would start dishing out their anger and disrespect on you. They'll take you for an easy punching bag they can resort to release their emotions. Guess who ends up soaking in all that unnecessary and avoidable pain? Only you. That's why striking a balance between being cool with folks and standing up for yourself is key to avoiding becoming an easy target for just anyone and everyone. You need to mark your ground. You need to set your boundaries. I'm not talking about just loose threats, but also developing the means to carry the repercussions out when your boundaries are transgressed. Now, when it comes to family ties, things are a bit more tricky. If everyone thinks they've got a permanent spot in each other's lives no matter what, it can get real messy. Without a proper dose of consequences for being disrespectful, it's like a free-for-all solo, each man for himself on the battlefield, and that's a recipe for a dysfunctional unit. Hence, you've got to still find that element which allows you to stand your ground. Being able to part a little accountability goes a long way in keeping the family boat steady. You can imagine it being sort of like hissing like a cat. It doesn't have to be constantly, but whenever needed. It's about saying, "Oh, hey, I'm present right here, so don't expect me to be a pushover." Don't mistake this for me saying you should be aggressive all the time, just that you're assertive when it matters. Think of it as adding a bit of spice to your communication style, essential to impart authority, and in turn, gain respect. Now let's actually talk about respect. Like I said in the start, it's rooted in fear, not the horror film kind, but the acknowledgement that someone possesses the power to severely mess things up for me, but is choosing not to do so. The real deal is those who hold power but keep it in check. It's like saying, "I could, but I won't." Just be careful. It's the same reason why countries sign hundreds and hundreds of peace treaties while still continuously upgrading their military and investing trillions in it. It's not that they don't have trust in the treaties, they do. But they understand the crucial element of the choice is with those who possess power. If you put your guard down, you lose your leverage power immediately, and those treaties dissolve in seconds. So, you can say it's literally the weapons and potential for destruction which maintains peace, not mere words. Because remember, words by themselves are utterly worthless. Just like you can't depend on them on an international scale, the same goes for your own life too. You must have the ability to harm. You should be a threat to others, a threat which you keep safely contained as long as you are not transgressed. Earning respect is like playing chess. You gotta make folks think twice before disrespecting you. It's not just about who you are. It's about them fearing the fallout of their own actions. One thing to note is, though, you can't only hiss and never bite. Empty threats don't take much time to be identified. Sometimes you'll need to flex those strengths, whether it's muscles, brains, or influence, and let consequences do the talking. If you get picked on by others, returning a fitting response might put you more on the spot momentarily, but it plants the seed that you're not a lousy pushover. So, the perpetrator would twice before messing with you the next time, since they realize you'll only be more hassle. To conclude real quick, wisdom and respect need a dash of fear. You can't go far without it. Consequences keep things in check, making sure people don't go off the rails. It's an ongoing dance between knowing what's right, earning respect, and understanding that a little fear can keep things running smoothly. After all, accountability is the glue that holds solid relationships together. So brothers, if you truly want to be respected, divert your efforts into excelling in various sectors of your life. Put yourself in a position of power and exercise that power whenever the need be. It might seem like a cruel or a jerk move, but it's a necessity. You have to decide which side of the interaction you want to be standing on. With that said, thank you for watching today's video. Make sure you support the channel down below by liking the video and subscribing. See you in the next one. Stay blessed.